I've got a few things to talk about today. First of all, leave it in the comments. What do you guys think about my D&D? I've just been coming up with a few D&D character names. The first one is my favourite, Lethadius Bullwinkle. Lethadius Bullwinkle, Mo Salah. I think that's a pretty good D&D name. DeQuavius Porkbelly. That's one for maybe a mage. Elwyn Bogey Mama. I don't know. It depends if I want to be a sassy lady. Thunderball Mega Penis. That's a dwarf. Dirk. Finibus the Blastmaster. Lenny Long Booty Hole. And Fanny Cockbum. Those are just a few names I've been kind of thinking about. And I do have another thing to talk about. Very interesting. It's about the government. And I have an inkling that we are not being told the truth. I think... There we go, I've got it. I think the first time that the public of the West completely factually knew that we were being lied to was probably in the early 60s. With the Vietnam War. That's more like American stuff. First time we probably got lied to, I don't know, maybe Thatcher. Anyway. Who remembers a little, well, I don't know how tall he is, Lee Rigby? Lee Rigby, he was a soldier, an ex-soldier that got shot. Or did he get shot? I don't know. That's what I'm here to discuss. What the papers... What the papers have been telling us, Lee Rigby got murdered early 2010 or 2011 in central London by a Muslim guy, a terrorist. And the whole of England mourned for Lee Rigby. I think in Afghanistan or Australia, I don't know which country, there's a fridge with his face on it. So, yeah, the world mourned and the world forgot. What a tragedy it is. But what I've been thinking about lately is this Iran war and the rise of potential fascism through reform. I spoke about reform in my last video. But reform focus, their main point, their hook for working class English people is brown people are bad and get rid of them. These boats, we need to show them the Uno reverse card and say, get out of town. You're not taking our meal deals, kid. That's what's happening. So I put two and two together. I put my journalistic cap on. Oh, I don't have a hat near me. I put my journalistic cap on and I thought, how coincidental. A brown guy murdered an English hero. I don't think that's the case. I think someone else killed him. But who? That's what I'm here to discuss. I've got 4 candidates. The first candidate is Lee Camp. Now, for many of you who don't know who Lee Camp is, you probably do know a Lee Camp, but not the Lee Camp that possibly murdered Lee Rigby. He was an ex-Nottingham Forest goalkeeper, and The reason why is Lee Rigby was getting a lot of acclaim at the time, as he should. He was an ex-soldier patriot. Lee, I think he got a little bit jealous. He's got the same name and the same birthday. So he was probably looking at famousbirthdays.com and he thought, I shouldn't be number 10 on that birthday. I shouldn't be number 7 in English people called Lee. So he did him. He did him in. Suspect number 2, Raoul Moat. Raoul Moat, he's probably more infamous than Lee Rigby. He was a Geordie man who massacred his ex-lover and her lover at the time. And I think he drank Foster's and wore a tank top. Reasons as to why he would have possibly murdered Lee Rigby: he's a hungry killer. You know, I'm pretty sure he killed him and then got Greggs afterwards. I think the MI5 revived him to kill Lee Rigby. It's all a massive conspiracy, and, you know, they always say it, conspiracy theorists, like Bob Lazar, that Area 51 guy. If I'm dead on the news, I didn't kill myself. I think the MI5 revived him to kill Lee Rigby, and then kill him again, kill Raoul Moat, because it's a perfect crime, because the guy's already dead, so he couldn't have killed him. He couldn't have killed him. Yeah, it's all to start this war in the Middle East, continue our war of Afghanistan at the time. It's all predictive. If The Simpsons can predict stuff, MI5 can. The Dark Destroyer is suspect number 3. He went to Ark Elvin Academy, which, that's evil. That's got to be evil. He also wrote a book called Chasing the Dream. People do say to get fame, you've got to do things that you don't like. I don't know. And he then called himself on live television to millions of people the Dark Destroyer. So that sounds like, hey, I don't like him too, Lee Rigby. I'll avenge you. I'm the Dark Destroyer. Ugh. And he's also, he can technically be from New Zealand or Australia. So if the news ever did get out, he'd be in the outback in a jiffy. And the last one, and it's one that I really don't want to say, but, you know, I swore an oath to the journalism community that I would never lie. Jim Skin is suspect number 4. I know. The reasons as to why he's a potential suspect. He used to live in a car. Why? Because he was on the run from a terrible crime that he committed. And also, what I was talking about with the Dark Destroyer, Chasing the Dream, we get all of this Hollywood ritual stuff, behaviour. John Cena, naked, you know. So I feel like Jim Skin, to get his fame, he murdered. He did murder. So the gods at Bohemian Grove in the government, they have sworn enemies on Jim Skin to keep him alive, Vecna and Pennywise. So those are my 4 suspects to potentially who killed Lee Rigby. Lee Camp, Raoul Moat, the Dark Destroyer, and Jim Skin. I don't like to say it. It could be Jim Skin. I'm pretty sure you could go to Bet365 and put your bets. Anyway, evening delights for tonight. Run, Fat Boy, run. And Simon and Garfunkel. That's what I recommend. Get out. And a quote. I'm a Yankee Doodle Daisy.